Hey guys, how's it going? This is John for Cartridge Blast Gamers, and today I thought we'd do something different. I'm a huge fan of Dragon Ball, and since Dragonball Super is currently airing, I thought I'd share my thoughts on the series so far, and maybe possibly turn this into a weekly review of the episodes. So what do I think of Dragon Ball Super? Well, here we go. I broke it down into some pros and cons. So Pro 1, I like the seamless transition from the Buu saga of Z to this. I think it's great. No more gaps of 3 years or 10 years like in Z, so you don't have to worry about when what took place. I think that's awesome. I'm glad that they did that. Another pro is it actually has an interesting plot. Sure, I get it. There's the whole gods thing keeps growing and growing, but it's the same thing that happened in Z. You know, first it was King Kai, and then the next thing you know, we're all the way up at the Supreme Kai, and then the Grand Elder Kai, and stuff like that. So, but this kind of brings a whole new element because now we're talking about different universes and these gods of the universe, and now we met the whole god of all universes. I mean, it's interesting, so I'm curious to see where they go with that. And also, Super Saiyan God. I like the forms that they have. I like the way Goku ended up being Super Saiyan God the first time, and then his Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, or Super Saiyan Blue as I like to call it because it's short. I think that's a neat thing. It's not like, you know, okay, so let's just keep going Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan 4, or an actual Super Saiyan form. Not that, it was Zaru hybrid form. I'll talk more about that in another video probably. But anywho, yeah, so it's nice to see that they actually did another form of it. And I like to see where they take the next forms. Another pro is actually adding to the movies. At first I was like, great, and they're just going to retell the entire 2 movies, you know, Battle of Gods and Resurrection of F. But they actually add on to it, add some longer fight scenes, and in Resurrection of F, they actually add new things that we didn't see, like bringing Ginyu back, which was awesome. I thought that was a cool little side plot. I mean, it didn't last long, but I thought that was neat to include it because it like brings things around and ties things off, if you know what I mean. So it's like they didn't forget. They brought things back from Dragon Ball Z, which is awesome. And Gohan in Resurrection of F, they gave him a little more screen time. Frieza actually almost brings him to near death, and I thought that was pretty interesting. I mean, we all wish he was super strong, but it's nice to see him talk to Piccolo at the end that he's interested in training more to protect his family, that he might have been able to, you know, stop Frieza before Goku and Vegeta had to get there. So, which brings me to my cons, and Gohan is on the number 1 list of cons. First of all, in Dragon Ball Z, Gohan was number 2 and the most important person, I think, in that series. You had Goku and then Gohan, and Gohan, actually, the original manga was supposed to stop after the Frieza saga, but then it was going to stop after Cell saga, leaving Gohan to be the most strongest and the protector of Earth after Goku leaves. But fans wanted the show to go on, and Akira Toriyama decided to make Gohan a scholar, which makes sense if you think about it, because Chi-Chi, that's all she wanted him to become. So with Goku's absence and the peace on Earth at the time, he decided to go and become a scholar, basically. But in the Buu saga, we see him actually become a lot stronger, and he was probably one of the most powerful, besides Vegito, but he was the most powerful character at the end of Z, as far as we know, with Ultimate Gohan. Obviously, we wish he would continue training, still have that ability, and kick some more ass, and possibly even become a Super Saiyan God himself, if not even powerful in a different form, which would be awesome. Another con is definitely the filler episodes. In Dragon Ball Z, they actually had a whole saga. The Garlic Jr. saga was a filler, but it was entertaining at least. This, they have random nonsense as filler episodes, such as Pilaf's gang accidentally ending up with Pan, and Pan flies into space and brings them into space, and everyone's breathing in space, and supposedly it was just the atmosphere, and whatever. It was a stupid episode. The only thing I liked about it was Goku losing some of his power. I thought that was an interesting idea, but it was only filler episode. That's all it was the filler, because he never mentioned it ever again. Another con is the fact that they never really explained how they achieved the Super Saiyan Blue form, or the fact that Vegeta himself became Super Saiyan Blue. How did he achieve that without having all the Saiyans give him the power to become a god? Hopefully maybe in the future episodes they'll maybe show Trunks how they did it so he can do it too. One of the biggest cons so far is definitely the Goku versus the Strawberry Jam Vegeta fight. That, to me, is just a filler episode, just to bridge the gap between sagas again, and it wasn't as intense as it could have been, as it should have been. Look at all the Goku and Vegeta fights in Z. Those all had meaning to it. You had the first one, the Saiyan saga, and then again with the Majin and Vegeta, and that was awesome. That was just perfect. Animation was great. The fight was great. It was brutal. They beat the crap out of each other. This one was just a joke. It was lame. It was too fast. There was no intensity whatsoever. It was, I don't know. Big disappointment. I don't know what you guys thought, but to me, that was lame. So those were my pros and cons. Some of the mixed thoughts that's going around the internet. Animation problems. You can't overlook the fact that some of the episodes look kind of crappy. Or some scenes, actually. I'm sure you saw the Super Saiyan 3 pictures online when he's at King Kai's fighting Beerus the first time. Those look terrible. Terrible. You look at some people's fan art. They're so much better. I could even do it, my eyes closed. And then some episodes, though, they're perfect. They're like great animation. It looks great. It looks like modern anime. Unfortunately, we're never going to go see like if you watch the Dragon Ball Z movies, those artists were top notch, and it was for a movie, so they put all their energy and effort into it, and it was perfect. It looked not real, but it was like every detail. Like every cut had detail, scrape. You can see all the muscles, all things like that, like hair and stuff like that, buildings. Everything had detail to it, and it made it awesome. It made it gritty. It was definitely awesome 90s animation. But to be fair, if you look at Z, which not a lot of people talk about, after the Frieza saga, almost every other episode has poor animation. One episode will have perfect animation, like the details, gritty, everything like that. Then the next episode, there's less details. Their hairs are giant afros instead of like spikes. Trust me, if you look at Z, you will notice the same thing. It's because they had one team working on one set of episodes, another team working on another episode, and they changed different artists as well once the seasons changed and whoever they can get their hands on. So looking at Super that way, you have to give it some credit because Z did it too. Although to give Z a lot more credit, they weren't as bad. Some scenes in Super are pretty terrible. Another thing people are talking about is the fact that Z is better than Super. Now for me, Dragon Ball Z is a 10 out of 10. I grew up on it. I loved it. Now is Dragon Ball Z better? Well, you gotta look at it. In Dragon Ball Super, we're on episode 48, getting into the Future Trunks saga. Now, in episode 48 on Dragon Ball Z, we were only in the Namek saga. You look at Super, we had Battle of Gods, Resurrection of F, the Tournament Saga, and now we're going into the Trunks Saga. That's 4 sagas already in 48 episodes. Versus Z, which you had the Saiyan Saga, and that led into the Namek Saga, which leads into the Ginyu Force Saga. And technically, they're only in the Namek Saga on episode 48 in Z. So that's 2 sagas versus 4 in Super. So does that make it better? Depends on the quality of the episodes. But I like to give them a little more credit, even though I know Super, they were talking about maybe it's only going to be 100 episodes. So we'll see. Maybe they're just trying to cram a lot into a very short amount of time. Granted, 2 of the sagas were already movies, so it's a retelling of it. So I guess if you look at it in that aspect, maybe it's only 2 sagas or 1.5 because we're just starting the new saga. But give it a thought. So let's talk about the current saga, Future Trunks saga. Now the biggest thing is, who is black? He looks like Goku, he's evil, and he's got a Portara earring in his left ear. So who is he? He's not Goten. Anyone saying he's Goten, remember the fact that in Future Trunks timeline, Goku died before the Android saga. So him and Chi-Chi never had time to get it on to make Goten. I guess you can argue the fact since they weren't warned about the androids, maybe they had time to. But the fact is, I'm sure everybody was wiped out. You would have probably seen Goten somewhere in the Future Trunks movies or episodes. Something would have said that he's still around and Chi-Chi's still around. But most of the guys have been wiped out. So it's not Goten. It can't be Goten. Unless it's another Goten from another universe and he happened to come there. But it's not Goten. If it was Goten, it'd be stupid writing. That's all I'm saying. Is he an android? I hope he's not an android, because we are tired of androids. Stop the android bullshit. Cell, that's perfect. That was enough. Done deal. If he ends up being an android, that's just lazy writing. That's all I'm going to say. Is he a god? Now that seems to be pointing in a right direction, considering the fact that we have this new mystery character shown in the title sequences. He looks like a green Kaioshin, who he is. Why haven't we seen him in the other timeline, since they kind of share the same universe stuff, I guess? But that seems to be where it's heading. Either he's gonna know who Black is, he's an enemy of that guy, or Black is that guy or associated with him. Now, we also see the fact that Black has an earring in his left ear. Now, does that mean maybe there's a Vegeta-looking guy somewhere else that has one in his right ear, and once they meet, they'll fuse together and make an evil Vegeta? Maybe? That'll be interesting. Maybe that'll give Vegeta and Goku a reason to fear or have a sense of urgency to defeat this guy. Because if Black's not that strong, and you're wondering, well, how did something like that get stronger than gods without being a god? You know, a saga like this, you would think it would have to give Vegeta and Goku a challenge, or else what's the point of the whole thing? So another theory, maybe it is Goku, and in the afterlife of the Future Trunks saga, since we're assuming Goku would have kept his body after all he's done, maybe he fused with some god up there, and it went wrong, and they split up into two, and maybe that entity got trapped in Goku's body, and then Goku's soul got trapped in the other person's body. Maybe the fusion got messed up. Maybe the fusion was wished to be canceled somehow, or some magic something happened. Because you gotta think, in the Trunks timeline, the only Dragon Balls should be the Namek Dragon Balls that exist, but Trunks never had a way to get to Namek. So, I don't know. That's another theory. Maybe it is Goku's body with an evil god entity in him, while Goku's soul is in another god's body, if that makes sense. We'll just have to find out, to be honest, because we don't know anything. And you could theorize all you want, but we'll just have to find out. So another thing is, why does Trunks have blue hair? See, I thought in the beginning was because maybe it's his age. Maybe he, as a young teen in the movies, he was fighting the androids, he had purple hair. Then by the time he meets up with the Z fighters that we know, he was about 16. And by the time he went back, he was 17 because he did the whole year thing. Maybe 18, something like that. Somewhere around there. So he was still technically a teenager. So I thought maybe he grew into his blue hair. I don't know. That was a theory I was thinking. But in this current episode, Bulma describes Trunks as having blue hair. So I'm assuming he was just having blue hair the whole time, and they messed up on that. But I think when it comes down to it, it's really just a marketing strategy, because now we have future Time Patrol Trunks in the games, and he's got his purple hair. So now with Dragon Ball Super Future Trunks, he's going to have blue hair, because it's a marketing thing. If there's toys come out, you're going to have Future Trunks of Dragon Ball Super. They're going to give him blue hair versus Time Patrol Trunks with the purple hair. It's just a stupid marketing thing. It makes sense. That's probably the only reason they did it. So, unfortunately, it's no big thing. They probably didn't forget. That's what they did. So the one thing that confuses me, though, about this whole Trunks saga is, why is Mai young, Trunks' age? Because in that timeline, Pilaf should never have been able to get the Dragon Balls to make that wish to make them younger again, because those would have been destroyed way beforehand. And the fact is, Mai should have been an old lady, and by the time reached Trunks' timeline, maybe the android should have killed him off, or she died. I don't know. Technically, she should be a minimum of Bulma's age. So, how did that happen? I don't know. But if that happened, maybe Black is Goten. So anyway, as far as Dragon Ball Super goes, score-wise so far, it's still going on, but so far, with everything we've seen, I'm going to give it about an 8 out of 10. Like I said, Dragon Ball Z for me is a 10 out of 10, but that's the whole series. For me, Dragon Ball Super's got a way to go. These past 2 episodes, though, starting the Future Trunks saga, are absolutely hands down the best I've seen. So hopefully it lives up to the hype and it gets better, because if it is supposed to be 100 episodes, we're just getting halfway point in the series. So I like to see Dragon Ball Super get to that 10 out of 10. Will it get there? I don't know, but we're just gonna have to find out. Alright guys, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe down below, and stay tuned for more videos. Hopefully we'll be able to get some weekly reviews out of Dragon Ball Super and some updates. Alright guys, let me know what you guys think of this video. Write your comments down below. If you agree with me, let me know. If you disagree, let me know. You know, this is Dragon Ball Super. Let's discuss about it. Alright guys, have a nice day. We'll catch you later. Peace.